Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Beastly Eel, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the latest episode of The Acolyte. So, in this episode, a lot of things happened. I'll say this major spoilers ahead. If you have not seen it and you don't want spoilers to be ruined, please make sure to pause this video because if not, you're going to learn a lot that you did not want to know. So, the episode starts with Osha waking up because she was force pushed away. She hears the sounds of lightsabers, and she hears the sounds of lightsabers clashing together. While she's walking, she sees one Jedi Master dead on the ground, and then she sees red, green, blue, and yellow. Yeah, or orange. No, yellow. Yellow lightsabers swinging around a red lightsaber. Now, this master, whoever they are, which we do find out in this episode, is taking charge of the fight with ease. I mean, with ease. He is going. They're go. Well, he. We now know for a fact it's a he. He was going to town on the guys, and apparently, what he can do, and this is where it gets very confusing. His armor must be some sort of alloy that is lightsaber resistant, and the excuse me, and the reason why I say that is because he was able to literally smash his armor into the lightsaber to dislodge the mechanics of it to stop it from working temporarily. Um, which I thought was very interesting. I mean, at one point, like headbutting lightsabers to shut them off is an incredible thing I've ever seen in my life. But it causes major damage to his armor and was slowly breaking off arms, helmet at one point as well. However, we see him take out most of the Jedi Order that was there with ease, with the exception of Soul, Soul's Apprentice, and Yard. I just want to make sure I'm not incorrect on that. Yes. One of the coolest death scenes that I've seen, or the coolest deaths I've ever seen happen, in Star Wars anyway, was the Master literally uses the right red lightsaber, digs right into one of them, uses the Force to push or no, force pull another Jedi into it and slices through the two of them, which I think is incredible use. I mean, he was cutting through all of them with ease, right? So then we have um, him versus Soul, which I thought was kind of cool to see. The two of them go at it, talking about masters and all that stuff, which I find very funny. Um, Yard tries to fight him. He gets slashed in the leg. Um, which was very, it got him hurt. So during this whole fight, right, we have Soul basically telling um, Yard to get him and Osha out of there immediately, get the civilian out. We then also have um, Soul's apprentice, who was actually toe to toe with Mai. So the two of them are fighting. And FYI, um, that was an incredible fight scene too between the two of them. We also get to see that she gets the apprentice gets the upper hand and actually handcuffs Mai. Soul is fighting the master. At one point, the master disappears after talking about what it is that you as masters, you need to do certain things and you must not use the darkness or whatever else. And he's kind of just like, well, why don't you do the same thing? And very hinting that something bad happened and Soul's not talking about it slash dealing with it in a healthy way because the idea was Soul was making a comment that the master doesn't let um, his apprentice know exactly what's going on, and the master's like, "Will you do the same thing to yours?" Which I find very interesting. But like I said, he disappears and goes after Mai. Mai is now handcuffed, and that's when our apprentice uses both lightsabers and goes and attacks the master. So the two of them go toe to toe once again. During all this, Mai runs away. And Osha and Yard come up with a plan and a strategy to use the flashlight on Pip to gather all of the large beetles creatures and bring them over to the master. So during this fight and everything else, the master actually slashes through the Wookiee's um, lightsaber, and the apprentice is left with just one. And the master disappears again, looking for mine. So they continue their fight elsewhere. So during all of this, we now have Soul, the apprentice, going after the master, trying to stop the master from killing mine. And that's legitimately what this last fight is about. And during all of this, the commotion and everything else, the master's helmet is destroyed or broken, I should say. I shouldn't say it's destroyed, but it's broken to the point where the face is revealed, and the master is not Mother Koro like I thought it was. It is actually Kumair? Kimair. Kumair. I forget how to pronounce it. But it's the guy that we've been seeing constantly in the series working with Mai. And it turns out he was the master all along. And they're trying to get more information out of him, like, why are you doing this? And he's just kind of like, because I can and I want to. And I don't want to listen to the rules of the Jedi because I want to be me and do what I want. And for me to do that, I got to do this. And so they're asking, like, what he is and everything else. He goes, well, I really don't have a name, but I guess to you Jedi, I would be called a Sith, which seems to be a little bit of reaction and everything else. And then the fight continues. The which stinks as all heck, but the master kills the apprentice and Yard. So kills the apprentice by stabbing them 3 times with the lightsaber, and then kills Yard by snapping his neck. And then disappears. Well, he looks like he's going to get disappeared again, but this time, Osha throws the device on Pip. Throws Pip with the massive flashlight onto the master, and the beetles carry them up. So then, Mai and Osha are now together. Soul is knocked out, uh, and it turns out that Mai has decided to take the place of Osha and join Soul. We know this, although it's very heavily hinted. Um, it is definitely known for a fact at the end of the episode. So Mai pretending to be Osha and Soul are back on the ship to get off the planet, while the Master killed all the beetles, got himself down, and found Osha, who he put his cloak around her, um, and looks like there's going to be a switch of masters. I'm very curious to see what's going to happen here. Which, by the way, although not a lot to describe happened, this was by far like the best visual fight scenes I've seen in a long time. Best ways of killing people to begin with as well, because normally we've seen only Jedi fights of like 2v1, 2v2. We don't necessarily see Jedi's and Sith like go that many to that many. And this is the first time we've seen that. And it was like we've seen a lot of Jedi's go out and fight, but it wasn't against other like lightsaber users. Going toe to toe. So I thought that was kind of cool in that sense, but also seeing how overpowered Kumail is and how he can use the Force better than all of them. The argument would be that he might be able to use it as equal as to Soul, possibly slightly better. The reason why I say it that way is because they were definitely more even once Soul knew who and what he was dealing with, which was a huge factor, I think, in that fight for sure. So then we have that whole thing in general, and it looks like he's going to have to piece his armor back together. So we know for a fact Soul's going to have to go back to the Jedi Council and basically be like, "We got a huge problem. We got a Sith," and nobody's going to believe him, and there's going to be a huge issue to begin with already. And we also have the idea that Mai is pretending to be Osha now, which is a whole nother issue. And then we have Osha with the Master, who, although if he wanted to kill her, he would have already done so. So I'm very curious at what's going to happen next. Is he going to train her? Is he going to just leave her there? I'm very curious on that piece. However, we don't know anything at this moment in time, but I'm very curious. I think there's 3 episodes left. 4 episodes left. Maybe it's 3. But anyway, we still have a few more episodes left, and I'm very curious at where this is going to go and what's going to happen at the end of it. But let me know what you guys thought about this episode in the comments down below. Did you like it? Did you not? And why? I, however, did not have a problem with Quamaya being the master. I thought it was actually rather fitting, especially with the way he was talking after else, once the helmet was off, that he just wants to do whatever he wants, which makes sense. And it's fitting because the Jedi are pretty much running everything, and he would need to use the dark side of the Force to basically try to get them to leave him alone. But anyway, I know some people are probably going to have a problem with that, and probably with the armor too. But we've known so many times that armor has been able to resist lightsaber attacks. I mean, for goodness sakes, the Mandalorians. Um, so it's not unheard of. And this was resistant, not, completely immune. So he was taking some sort of damage. Or at least the armor was taking damage. And I do like the switch of Osha and Mai. However, I'm very curious at why she left Osha there because she wanted to work with Osha so bad. But I know they had that fight, so that might have changed some things as well. So I'm very curious to see how that dynamic goes. But overall, like I said, let me know what you guys thought about this episode in the comments down below. You all know my thoughts, and I'll gladly, talk about them in the comments as well. And as always, if you made it this far, please make sure to like and subscribe down below. Other than that, this is going to be Beastly Eel signing out. Have a great night.